Ladies and gentlemen, we are just getting right to it. Here we go.
No, thank you very much for doing that. I can feel the energy coming. Um, Go ahead, Brooke. Do you want to explain? You want to go ahead and take it? So I apologize. We're doing it a little bit differently today, and I'm feeling so much energy come through right now. So we might be channeling soon, but um, we did
Just
have.
go with it. Just go with it. We'll explain later. Just go.
Oh man, it's a lot. So I apologize. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is Enoch speaking at this time. Pleased we are to be in your presence. There is much in the form of communication that is coming forth hither to you at this time. We encourage you all to be peaceful in your mind and allow for these opportunities of growth and transparency to be dictated to you at this time. Dictated not in the form of mandation, but in the form of oral explanation as we commence with understanding through Christopher and Brooke. We are pleased to announce that there is an energetic shift that is transpiring on this Earth's plane that is magnetic and beautiful in direction and guidance as it is coming more to you all, my children, peaceful beings you are and can be and possess the opportunities to be. But there is much in the form of confusion from the energies that are being felt. Great shifts that are transpiring on this plane are for the greater good, my children, and we encourage a greater understanding of this occurrence. It is not an energy to be questioned or to be in one with negativity. It is one to release and heal from, to be one of love with. For it is great confusion when the energy is felt and not understood completely, and it is a driver for individuals that are not of a higher mindset yet. We are encouraging deeply a greater understanding that these energetic forces are not necessarily drivers as the energy shifts. They are for the purpose of observation, for they are bringing about great healing from within the body. But this energy, once it is being healed, is being brought to the surface and thus felt yet again in some form or another. There are individuals that are referencing this energy and using it as a sense of negativity and frustration. We encourage this not to be so, my children. We encourage greater love for yourself and the healing opportunities that are being presented to you all as a collective. For it is a matter of truth that the collective is rising as a result of the energetic shifts of this planetary realm, Mother Earth, Gaia, who is also ascending and whose energy is affecting the collective. Be mindful of these shifts in energy and allow love and understanding, peace to quell your mind, to be one with you, my children, and we will assist with your energetic being of love and peace as well, should you allow us to and call upon us. We encourage this greatly as it is a source of helpfulness as you call upon us and ask for the assistance that is needed when it is needed, and not to be led by the ego mind who is encouraging you at times not to call upon us. For it is the ego mind that makes you doubt and the thought that makes you question who we are and our presence with you. This is no longer needed, my children. Call upon us as the divine beings that we are and allow for our energy to help you with your energetic shift vibration. And we love you all. Please continue along this road of ascension, of awakening, and allow for the opportunities that are being presented to the collective, to all of mankind, to affect you in greater ways of peace and love, and be of the heart always, my children, for we are with you. opportunities are being presented to all of you that are greater in even your energetic shift, but allow for greater aspects of communication to come forth to you all. And we are hopeful that many of you will begin to forge ahead with this mindset and acceptance of our communication as it comes forth hither. You are beautiful beings and aspects of the Creator, my children, which you carry within your heart. We do encourage and hope that your hearts begin to open more for a love of yourself, thyself, and the love of others around you, regardless of their mindsets. It is an important aspect of this realm to be less judgmental and more peaceful in its acceptance of others that are around you. And we are encouraged by the amount of awakening that is transpiring at this time. Please understand that our presence with you is real, and shall you open up to it, we will assist in greater ways. And we are grateful for this message and the opportunity to speak through Brooke and Christopher at this time. We thank you all and encourage to go in peace and love. Thank you.
You okay?
Yeah, thank you very much. It felt like a lot of energy there. So I was just feeling it in a lot of different ways. So, but yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So if I was going to say, do you want something to say, or do you want me to just go ahead for a little bit? You can take a drink of water, take some deep breaths, relax.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, so me and Chris decided that after what happened last podcast, we were going to start coming in with an open mind. We kind of had an agenda before. We'd come on, we'd say good morning to everybody. We'd kind of talk about our experience during the week, and we would have the topic on which, we didn't feel that we picked it. We feel that it was a divinely led, and at the end, Chris would channel. Well, anybody who saw last podcast saw that it did not go that way. And the craziest thing to me, and Chris didn't fully understand why I was so kind of not freaked out, but just so wowed or speechless about it. Chris didn't fully know where I was coming from. And when I talked to him later on, I was like, you don't understand. I was like, I had a plan. Well, I guess I can laugh at that right there, because I think any time in life that we think that we have a plan, God, that's probably the funniest thing, that God can hear from us that we have a plan. But I felt like it was God's plan. I felt like what I was kind of doing was, I know that there's a lot of things that Chris and I say that if we went straight to the spiritual community and only the spiritual community with this, they 125% know exactly what we're talking about and probably have thought about these things 20 times deeper. I was kind of going with the agenda of gradually bringing mainstream, to this understanding and gently easing us into some information. And one of my main goals, which was going to be in the next podcast or two, was kind of leading up to what Enoch felt that it was this urgent last podcast to come in and say. And, when Chris kind of stopped and he's like, I'm not sure. Well, number one, it's because he's feeling the energy and he's using the words, so he doesn't have time to think exactly about what's being said right then. But everything that was coming through him from Enoch was the message that I was kind of holding back on and trying to find a very diplomatic way to present that information. And as you see, I kind of got caught off guard last time and just started rambling with all the randomness I had in my head that had to do with that topic. And I don't think Chris understood, as he was channeling that information, that was information that I kind of had and was holding back, waiting for the right time. So we decided to go into this one with an open mind. And while we did discuss having some ideas about what we felt was being felt through us this week, and mine had to do with an energy shift that I felt drastically. And then, you know, I asked him, I said, well, do you have anything that you feel has been like a presence in downloads? And he's like, yes. He's like, I've been feeling a lot about dimensions. And I was like, that's crazy you say that, because me, myself, it's always been a thought in my mind. It's a big thought. It's what, as far as I'm concerned, it's what I know, based off faith, not based off the scientific or the mathematic equations of it. My belief of these other dimensions is based off faith and what I know in my heart. But when Chris said that, I was like, 3 other conversations I had this week were people talking about, you know, asking me about parallel dimensions, asking me about like, but it was a topic from 3 different people throughout this last week. So when Chris said that, I was like, that must be like the theme of the week in the collective consciousness.
Yep.
So I don't know. I like I said, I feel like I'm rambling right now. You know, so when we came on and I saw that he was getting choked up, I was like, yep, this is going to be enough. I said, God, they've switched this up on us. They're going to let us know up front, you know, what's going on.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, you're completely right. Sometimes it is very difficult for me to remember what they say when they come in. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It is hard to process for me at times. I mean, sometimes I can pick up glances, which I do recall a little bit of what they said, but yeah, I'm not even entirely sure what was said there, other than an energetic shift in the planet. So yeah, and I think what their point, if I could say just real quick.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, let me go with you. What are you thinking there? Because you probably have a better perspective.
Well, I was gonna say, did you have any like glimpses or visions or during that?
No, actually,
Okay.
I do not recall any visions on that one.
Okay, that's where I thought you might have been going. So again, and like I said, it's like I understand. Like, I mean, there are some people that while they're channeling, they actually have no idea what is being said. They have to go back and see, because that entity is completely taken over. And not only that, but they're using everything in you, and there's no way that, I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm able just to listen and start trying to process. There's no way you can process that while it's actually happening. Yeah. So what I did get, and it's what we've talked about before, you know, and I think it just happened again. So these shifts are becoming more frequent. You know, it's like, and we've talked before about like the shedding and these shifts that are going on, the amount of light that is coming in and helping with the conscissness. And I've felt these shifts, and they're getting closer and closer. Well, I just felt a huge shift. So what Enoch was saying was that about this one feeling negative, but that it really wasn't. And that is exactly my whole experience yesterday.
Oh my gosh, you are right. Oh, you said, oh yeah. Okay, go ahead, please. I'm sorry, I get so excited. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and that's why I said it was so exciting, that it's like, that's what I got all this, is like, oh my gosh. So whenever I get certain feelings or notions, or I feel something about energy, I will always question like what's really going on. But then it was funny that yesterday, as just scrolling, information kept popping up that there were all kinds of things that have been opening and happening the last couple of days energetically. And so my experience with it was, yesterday morning was rough, but before that, even the day before, I was very irritable. And it scared me a little bit, because I was showing signs of, I guess, my old self, maybe when the ego was more in control of me. And so at first I felt very negative about it, you know, and I was like, oh no, like, what am I doing wrong? Because I feel like I was healed from this. I feel like this was something I've already let go. Like, I was down on myself, like I must be doing something wrong right now for this negativity to have this much power over me. So when I woke up yesterday morning, it's like from the time that my family members even started to like say good morning to me, I realized that I was just getting ready to fly off the handle. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go for a ride. I need to find like a CD that I can like scream every word to. And I'm sure there's better choices. I picked Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. It's just, there's so many screamable songs on there, you know?
Yeah.
So I took that with me and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I was like, this is going to be, and I always question, is this a personal shift or is this a universal shift? Mm-hmm. Well, the first person, my first phone call that morning was crying. And I was like, well, I'm crying. She's like, well, I'm crying. My second encounter was going to my mom's house. She was on her couch bawling. And I'm like, not you too. So clearly it became very clear to me within my first hours of waking that this was a collective shift, not just a personal shift. Later on in my day, I'm surrounded by a lot of sensitives. I'm sure that there are people that, and when I say sensitives, I mean that in the amazing way that we just feel so much. You know, and maybe there's people that were just like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Yesterday was like the greatest day ever. I don't know. But for us sensitives and everybody that I've encountered yesterday who I know to be a sensitive, it was felt. So I started questioning. I was just like, okay, am I feeling this negativity because I'm doing something wrong? And I tried to be down on myself for a little bit. And they were like, no. They said, think back to what you told your son the other day. So my son was having a rough day and he does it. It's hard when you don't know what you are. And I know what he is. I know he's a light worker. And it was a sensitive. And I said, well, here's the thing. When you feel something, and I had to take my advice. This is what came to me yesterday. I was like, Brooke, take your own advice on what you just told your son. When you feel something and nothing that you can think of has really happened to you to change your emotional state, or there hasn't been an incident in life, but you just start feeling overwhelmed with emotions. I was like, those are not your emotions. And I said, which is hard when you don't understand how to do the light work. And I honestly didn't understand until about a year ago, maybe even less, that our job as light workers is to feel the darkness, take the darkness as much as you can from whoever you can. And the trick is turning it back to the light.
Yeah, transmuting it. Yep.
Transmuting it back to the light. And so life is very hard for kids right now, or even adults who have never discovered that this is why they're feeling what they're feeling, is because they are a light worker. And their job is ultimately to transmute that darkness into light. So yesterday, even talking to my mom, I was just like, Mom, I was like, I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be this easy, that we can do this in like 5 minutes and feel better the rest of the day. I was like, depending on how much, we're trying to flip, which was, I heard that a lot yesterday. They're like, this energy came in, like it's going to take a lot of alchemy to turn this around. But, and that was even later in the day after we had already done what we did, my friend and I. So I was like, no, okay, I'm not holding on to this. This is not mine. This is being given to me to help the collective to give it away. And I felt better just even after my ride and even after changing to that, because my ego was trying to tell me like, oh, here you go again, right back to your old self, you thought you were healed, and just all that light came to me. It's like, no, like, you have this, it is not yours. You are going to be a huge help to the collective right now. You are going to transmute this darkness, which it is a lot right now. You're going to transmute this into light. And so a friend and I, we did our part. I think we all have our parts to do. And I feel that my friend and I did our part, because I know even when I came home, my husband knows when I get into these, when I'm feeling this negative energy, it's not usually that easy. It's not done in necessarily a day. And when I came home, he kind of looked at me and he's like, oh, you look fine. And I was like, I am fine. I'm great. And he's like, okay. Because he's like, I didn't know if like, and I was like, no, like we did it. And I'm not saying it was just we as in me and my friend. I'm saying I think a lot of people from later on that day, looking at forums, a lot of people understood that they had a job to do yesterday. And there was a lot of transmuting of this dark energy into light yesterday. And I'm feeling pretty light and fresh today.
Yeah, it's so yesterday I had an experience where I was driving home and I was telling my wife that I was having this experience from years ago that was coming back up, and I'm like, this is an interesting aspect of me that I'm healing right now. And it's dawning on me right now that that happened, but I was not aware of that energetic shift as well as you were until Enoch just brought that up, you know? So I had a few instances this week where I was doing that. And when Brooke is talking about doing her light work and transmuting that energy and doing her part, if I can ask you, Brooke, does that to you, is that like a meditation to where you're focusing light, or how do you do your light work there?
Well, the cool thing about doing light work is you do what you feel.
Yes.
It can be as silly as you want it to be. It can be as serious as you want it to be. It can be as magical as you want it to be. It can be as simplistic as you want it to be. So when I left my mom's house, what I told her to do, I told her, I was like, all right. I was like I said, reach inside and pull out the darkness, you know, and I said, hold it in your hands, you know, and I said, and look at that darkness. And I said, and imagine it turning to light. And I said, then call an angel down to pick that up for you. And I said, and say to the angel, here, I give this to you to take back to the light with 1,000 times love. And I was like, and do it again. So see if you can pull out another dark ball and turn that into light, and then call another angel down. So she kind of thought, I don't know, she thought I was crazy, or she thought that might be a fun game. I don't know. So that was what I had told my mom to do, was just keep making light bubbles and sending them back up, you know, but what my friend and I did was we simply just took a rock symbolic of the collective. And it's all in your intention. You cannot do it wrong.
Yes,
if your
exactly
intention
right.
is to turn darkness into light, it's just your intention.
Yep.
And so sometimes tools, like we've said, Chris and I have talked before about the tools that, you know, rocks can be, crystals can be, oils can be, candles can be. It's just about helping you set your intention to focus better. So her and I took a rock that represented the collective. And I was feeling pretty shitty yesterday, so I actually picked a tiger's eye and said, this is the big turd, this is the big turd collective. I was still kind of negative going into it. So what her and I did was we actually made and talk about the energy being powerful. I've never done it. She's the one that showed me how she holds her palms apart and pictures the energy in between, and you know, you get your hands closer together, you can actually feel the resistance like two magnets at with the opposing forces. And even she went, oh my gosh, I don't ever feel it with my hands this far apart, and I've never done it before. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling it too, like this is crazy. She's like, yeah, I thought it was going to take us a couple minutes to build this energy ball.
Yep.
So we sat there with our energy balls, and we just focused on all the love that we wanted to send out into the collective, just all the love, all the clearing of the darkness. What she saw was, she saw all the people in the world and just all their third eyes connecting and lighting up. You know, she saw all this connecting going from person to person. What I saw was just a whole bunch of little scattered lights. And then all of a sudden, whoop, all the lights went together into one big light. And then when we felt like we had our intention out there and our little energy balls, big energy balls actually, that's when we just pushed them down on top of the rock that we had representing the collective.
Love that.
So that's
that
right.
is
I mean,
awesome.
You can get as creative as you want.
Totally. I mean, I do it. I don't use like crystals or rocks or much when I'm doing my light work. I do a lot within the mind and through meditation. So that's how I do mine. But I love the creativity that you guys have used there. I think that's just so cool. I will see visualizations, but again, we circle back to that triangle where you have the thought, of putting the light out there. You're speaking it in that
Well,
you're communicating with Nova.
we put the collective inside of a triangle.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we did put the collective inside of a triangle, so we would all be joined in a perfect foundation. And yeah, so
Very cool.
But my I feel like one of my other big epiphanies from yesterday was just that if more people knew, like, these labels of light worker, starseed, this and that, the fact is that it's anybody that feels that they're going to, this is for everybody. This isn't for people who, have the label of starseed. This isn't for people that have the label of light work. If you are feeling a negativity and it's not because something actually did happen in your actual life that day and you are experiencing negativity, it may be that it is darkness that you've helped somebody else. You maybe collected that energy from somebody else, but realize that it's not yours and that you have the power to release it into the light and to transmute that darkness into light. So anybody has the power to do this. It's just that's where our free will comes in. Our free will comes in is nobody says you have to, but my mom was with her yesterday. I was like, Mom, but let me ask you a question. At any point in time, did you ever say to God, I am yours, use me as you will? She's like, well, yeah, I did that. I was like, you asked for it. Like, that's what it means. Like, that's when you're telling God you are willing to, you are here to serve and you are willing to do what he wants you to do. That's what you sign up for. I know that sometimes we're not ready for what we signed up for, and that's our free will. But if our free will asks God to use me, he is going to use you.
It really is. And actually a lot of what I hear a lot is from people is that they'll say, I'm not worthy. And I would encourage a different mindset there, because you are worthy. And you're hearing these words for a reason, and that is to actually begin to use them, to do this kind of stuff, to bring the light in, because it is needed. And all of us have such an important role there, as Brooke has just demonstrated and explained, in that, you've asked for it, now go do it, now be it. And again, it goes back to the triangle and how much, energy is. And I'm sorry, I keep bringing that up because I feel like it's just so important, in that when you put that much energy into something, thought, speech, and action, it is so powerful. But you can begin to diminish that energy if you self-doubt, if you allow that mind in there to make you think otherwise.
So that's funny that you said that, because that was my other huge thought yesterday, was almost how we've been programmed to self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
We've almost been programmed in that way. It's like if I know myself being, earlier in my life having certain diagnoses put on me, and it was if I thought I knew something that maybe somebody else didn't know, or if I thought that I was wonderful in any way, well, I was told that was a grandiose thought, that, oh, you're being grandiose. This is just more proof that you are mentally ill, so right there, that was shut down. If God forbid we are out with, out somewhere, you're just like, you know what, I'm feeling really good today. Like I'm actually feeling kind of cute today. Well, then you're called conceited. The way society has worked, we have always shut down anybody, feeling good about themselves. It's either you're made to feel like you're being conceited, you're made to feel like, and even, we've always been told, throughout, I know growing up as a Christian is, you will always fall short of the glory of God. You will never be enough on your own. You will, and that was a part that was said a lot, when honestly, Jesus said, do ye not know that ye are gods?
Mm-hmm.
He said that. And, so me and my mom were talking yesterday, and I was like, yes, that was the case. But when Jesus came, that was all wiped out. He took all of that for us to be able to go forward, knowing that everything was cleansed, everything was gone, that because of him, we are good enough now. We are good enough, and we have to realize how good we are. but yet that's still something that is said that holds people back. And just all that programming just from society and from those things make us feel like we are not allowed to feel good enough, you know. And that's my thing, is the whole, you know, that's why I'm like so powerful with this self-love. And, you know, you are good enough. And if you only knew that the angels standing beside you think that you are perfect, they think you are amazing, they can't find one flaw with you. You know, there's nothing but love.
Totally. And you're right. When you open up to it and you begin to feel it and express it, your mind and start to self-positive talk is helpful in these times to get you past these ego mind thought processes and old ways of thinking. Because yeah, as Brooke was saying earlier, we are taught, many of us are taught, you know, that we should be God-fearing, and that is just the opposite. That they don't, those two terms don't even go together. You know, they're the complete opposite. You don't fear God, you are you know, you're an aspect of him. Just, you know, when we carry,
you are love, you are light. And that is where you know, when I first started that mantra a couple years ago, when I would say it most when I was feeling anything but that I was love and light, but it almost felt, I feel like from programming, I almost felt dirty. Like when I was saying, I am love, I am light, the first thought in my head was like, ooh, how can you say that? Like, why would you think you are love? Why would you think you are light? And I was just like, well, maybe I shouldn't be, you know, it was that ego,
totally.
You know. And now I am so past that I don't care if I'm on my most disgusting day. I will tell you, I might look gross right now, but I really am. I am love and I am light, you know.
That's beautiful. I didn't even know you did that. It's funny because I use those exact two mantras almost on a daily basis. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll feel stuff, and those are the two mantras that I will use. I am light, I am love. Literally.
And I say I am
every
healing.
day.
So I say I am light, I am love, I am healing.
Okay.
Usually, yeah.
Love that.
I always had that one.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I didn't even know that.
I would say, yeah, to combat that programming that we have, that will never be enough, or God forbid you think you are, then you're conceited or grandiose or whatever. If you don't do it already, just start simple. When you're walking around, just in your head, I am light, I am love. And believe me, our brains will believe anything we tell it.
Yep.
So, you know, our words are powerful. So if you're like, you know, I don't wake up so good every morning, well, if you keep saying that, you're not going to wake up so good every morning, you know, and change it. When, you know, when I wake up, it's wonderful. Like, I love waking up in the morning and starting a new day. And there's going to be a transition. It's not going to happen. It will happen. Whatever you tell this, it'll believe it.
Yes.
You know?
Well, and again, I don't know why, but I keep going back to this triangle, and I'm so sorry about that. So please forgive me.
No.
But yeah, it's like if you have the thought of something, but then you speak it, you have 2/3 of the triangle that are going in a particular direction. And if that particular direction is negative, then it's almost inevitable that you're going to begin to act in that manner. And you really want to create as much separation between any negative thoughts from speech and action. You know, you want to start, even if you feel a certain way, you want to start speaking and acting in the more positive direction to create those 2/3 that are much better. And eventually it's going to change the mind. It's going to happen. And now if you can start with the thought and change the thought and then add the speech and action, whew, I mean, that's almost like, I mean, you've basically discovered enlightenment, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is the key. But like I would say self-talk, because this is going to believe whatever you tell it.
Yes.
But like I said, it's hard getting past that hump of, you know, always being told that, oh, that's not okay to do that. Yeah. And people, all of you, there is not one single person that I'm going to walk past that is not of the light.
Oh my God.
You are all of the light. It's not, oh, but he's not. Oh, but she's, no, you are all of the light.
you are all the light, you are all worthy, and you all have amazing gifts that honestly we all want to see. You're all capable capable of getting communication. You are all capable of being light workers and shining light and transmuting energy. It's just a matter of what are you going to do to allow that to come out from you, you know, to allow their help to come down and allow them to work through you, which you can do through that intent, through the effort, you know, through the desire. It's going to happen.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, as my mind is blank, because I told you that my son has been sucking all of my thoughts out of my head.
I
He's
agree.
been healing me. He's been trying to give me a quiet mind, and it's actually really working. But I'm trying to think back to the channeling more about the energy that, so when we feel, I'm trying to think back to the channeling and what else that I feel that was important being said there.
Yeah, well, actually, you created a thought in my mind as you were talking, or a thought came in, and now I completely lost it. It is so crazy that how that comes and goes like that. But yeah, I completely forget.
This has been a bizarre week. I'm telling you, like in my entire life, I have never been the empty vessel that I am right now. Like I keep feeling like it may be the calm before the storm, that
Yeah.
I am just going to get dropped in so much information. I feel like that I am going through some sort of transformation right now that, but my brain has never been this quiet.
Well, I agree with you, because I am noticing many differences, even in the people that I work with, in myself, and how much they're coming in and what the kind of energy that they're coming in with. A lot of people are coming to me saying that they are experiencing major shifts in their development. People that were having trouble trying to channel right, or one woman I've channeled for several times, she just recently came to me and has indicated that she literally just had a breakthrough last week, and her healing has amplified tremendously. And so you're absolutely right.
I just had a major epiphany as you were talking.
Go.
And if this is true, how amazing it would be. So whenever I have a personal experience, I honestly never think it's a personal experience. I always feel like it's a collective experience. And I was just thinking that most of the talk in our heads is ego.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the chatter that's going on up there is ego.
Totally.
And I was just thinking, if what I am experiencing, that the collective is also experiencing the same peace and quiet of the mind, that the lightness that is coming in is truly quieting people's minds, and that this ego is getting more quiet, that for everybody, not just us. Yep. But that if you don't have that thing in your head going, oh, I have to respond to that post, oh, I have to argue with this person, or oh, I have to, I mean, if this is truly what's happening to the collective, can you imagine?
It's a beautiful thing to think about. I think if we actually say that that's happening, we might actually be able to manifest it ourselves.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what I said from the beginning with the beliefs of what the spiritual community has right now, everything that's going on, you know, if nothing else, if we humans initially manifested all of this yuck and darkness, but right now there are a lot of people focusing on this ascension and this new consciousness. So if it wasn't going to happen for any other reason, it is definitely being manifested.
Yeah. So okay. So one thing that I would like to bring up is that when you are feeling these feelings, because I just want to help people understand a way of handling it. And we've discussed this before. It starts with the awareness. Once you feel that anger and frustration, because I did feel it several times this past weekend, once on Friday, once on Sunday, and both times it starts with that awareness where you're like, whoa, I feel something. I feel something that is negative or frustrating, or makes me sad or whatever, angry. Once you feel that, take some time to sit and observe it, because you don't, and again, it goes back to the triangle. You don't have to act on it. you just sit there and you watch it. Like, if you don't want to combat the feeling, you know, you feel this whatever inside that doesn't feel necessarily good, just sit there and observe it. Take a step back and just think about it. Like, okay, ask it questions. Obviously, send it love, like Brooke has stated before. Send it love, but be inquisitive. Like, okay, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to tell me? But don't allow that to drive anything else, you know, the speech or the action. But if you don't want to combat it, yeah, just become an observer of the feelings. And when these energy shifts come in and you're feeling them, take that observing mentality to it, and just to see what it's trying to do. Because one thing that I have realized is that, like, the Earth's frequency is like 7.83, something like that, right?
Yeah.
But what is happening is there are frequencies that are hitting the Earth, these spikes that are happening. And a lot of people in this realm, when I say realm, I mean this awakening realm, are saying that these energy shifts are what is ascending the Earth. These, like, there was a 40 hertz frequency that just hit the Earth, and this is the frequency at which that is happening has been increasing. So I apologize, I'm getting a little deep there, and I'm sorry about it, but it is just something I'm just trying to help you guys understand, that sometimes these energy shifts can come from areas like the Earth rising, like your own rising. And again, we don't know necessarily at that moment what is causing it, but if you take an observing kind of perspective to it, it'll just help you overcome it without acting or speaking of it, and just noticing it. So, sorry.
So no, great. I had two things. So I don't know if you heard this yourself when you were channeling, but what you were just saying, but also like observing it. And when we say observe, Enoch's in the channeling, no judgment, you know, no judgment. So when you observe, you don't sit there and judge that thought.
Huge point.
You know, so, but you said it earlier, you know, you were saying that
I said nothing.
But I felt like that was something that he, you know, we usually do talk about judgment, whether it's of ourselves, of others, of our thoughts, of others' thoughts even, but that was something that came through during your channeling. So that is something that is clearly very important.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the other thing you were saying, you know, because we did talk that we wanted to touch on some dimensions things, and you did give me a little segue when you were talking about the frequencies hitting the Earth right now. Mm-hmm. So everything is a frequency and a vibration. That's what everything is. We're all energy, and energy is at different frequencies, different vibrations. So the one thing that pinged me when I was listening to things last night, look, I don't have a big brain. I'm not into big brain stuff. I can't sit here like an astrophysicist, a quantum mechanics theorist, and sit here and tell you the mathematical equations to why there is parallel universes, different dimensions, all that good stuff. But the one thing that pinged me was saying, you know, it's like, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know, the closest planet that we know of would take 20,000 light years to get there. Like the closest would be possibly habitable planet would take 20,000 light years to get there. So what they're coming to find now, there are quantum physics that they will tell you, but it's beyond a doubt to them that multiple dimensions exist, that multiple realities exist. But the one thing that pinged me last night was the reason that we're not aware of them is because here on Earth, we have our physical laws. You know, what goes up must come down. What does this must do that. Like the laws that we have with this vibration and this frequency is why this is all we can see. But if you change the frequency and you change the vibration, that opens up that whole other dimension. And so that is what I believe is happening right now, that our frequency is rising. So we can't see it because of the physical matter, the way things can be seen here. But if you change our frequency and change our vibration, then that would be a whole other dimension.
Yes, that's interesting. That's a concept that I need to think of, well, not think about, but spend a little time feeling with. But you're right. A lot of information has been coming through about dimensions. And actually, just yesterday, I channeled a message to where they were talking about how there are, so people that are alive have these aspects in each dimension, and they are, so say you have a connection, your physical body and physical third dimensional self has a connection to the fourth dimension. We've discussed that in another podcast, but what I was told yesterday through a channel was that aspect, your connections, can use other people's portals. So as we are ascending, our light bodies are these elevators to that spirit can use to come down, right?
Mm-hmm.
They use because we have lifted ourselves so high, other people, their soul's connection can also use those portals to come down and begin to interact with, like, just say you can interact with you through my portals.
Yeah.
And that is mind-blowing. So it's absolutely something that I really think we should get into. It's going to be a long one, though.
Yeah, I believe so too. And it's just, but everything I know and feel of it is all faith-based. I have I have people just like, well, do you know the mathematical theory behind that? No, I don't.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't.
I'm the same.
I know what I feel I've been shown. I know what I feel come in. I know there's no doubt about it. And, I speak of things in simple terms. It's a big brain idea. I mean, but it is something that scientists are making huge. I mean, I've been told that that as far as they're concerned, they've proven it.
Yes.
But, humans they need physical. They have to see things. They have to,
Tangibles,
they have to have something tangible.
Mm-hmm.
As far as they're concerned, it's beyond a doubt. I mean, yes, it is still and will probably always be categorized as a theory because we don't have something tangible.
Yeah, we can't touch a portal like physically with our hands. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it will always be classified as a theory, but it is a theory that they've pretty much proven.
Yes.
But they still have to call it a theory.
Well, it's like you though. You and we're so similar, and
yeah.
I am the exact same way. I don't. So much of the information I get is through. Okay, so much of the information I get is through what I channel or the direct experiences I have.
Exactly.
And then talking to you, like you really helped me with that dimensional aspect understanding. So I knew about each of our souls and our ties to each of the dimensions. And I knew those dimensions could come down. What I didn't know was that they could use our portals, which I just found out yesterday. So like your guides can use my portals and work with you through me. And I did not realize also that the dimensions, like I knew they had their own consciousness, but I never thought about that. And you helped me understand that those consciousnesses, or those
I know. We're not good with these big words and stuff, Chris.
Yeah. But those dimensions have their own way of thinking, basically.
Yeah.
They think for themselves, completely void of what this third dimensional self is thinking. They have their own thought processes, and they work to help us down here, which is, this concept is mind-blowing, and you helped me very much so shed light on more of how it is all working. And it is really something that I would love for us to get into.
I mean, honestly, like I told you before, I feel like that's why they have us together as this team, because I will have ideas in my head and I can't even think of a way to articulate or verbalize them. Like I couldn't think of an order to put them out, but then it ends up that what they channel through you, I'm just like, okay, well, that was these thoughts that I had, but they were able to put it in an order for me to be able to explain. Like that's, it's definitely like a teamwork makes the dream work,
Totally.
There
Yes.
is complete teamwork going on here.
Yeah.
So, and that's, I told you the first time that I came up when we hadn't talked for a very long time, I said, you're going to learn and I'm going to learn. Like, I just knew that right then and there, that I was going to learn stuff from you and you're going to learn stuff from me. And that is how we are supposed to be with everybody.
Yes.
That is how it works for all of us. Chris talked before about being links on the chain. And, you might be that link on the chain that does know the mathematical equation to the parallel universes. And, then down here with the link on the chain that's never even given the thought of that. But there's all those links in between. And when we just are able to go to another human being with an open mind and open heart and just hear the information they're trying to share without judgment. And then hopefully they're willing to listen to the information that we want to share without judgment. We are all links on that chain, and we won't know until we're talking to other people what more we can learn or what more we can teach somebody else. We are, it's funny that now we're in this time we're being told not to communicate, stay 6 feet apart, when right now it's actually more important than ever for us all to be making these connections with people. Have a telephone call with somebody, do it FaceTime, don't just text. If you're sitting home and you're going to text a friend, FaceTime your friend, like talk, but I just feel like right now joining these links on the chain is more important than ever. So get out there and talk to people and listen to them. Like, even if you don't agree with what they're saying, just hear them, and hopefully they'll give you the same respect without judgment, that you can say what you're thinking and speak your truth without them judging you, so we can all just learn a little bit about each other.
The breaking of the cycle starts with us. And that is it is clear that they above feel that this topic is so important because they continuously bring it up with us. They are not letting us go. And it is clear just in our conversations about this podcast that every time we think we might have something, they bring us back around to something that we're thinking that we were done with, but they're like, nope, you got to keep hammering it because it is so important.
Yeah.
And this podcast is so divinely guided. Like, we really, obviously with this one, Brooke's great idea of going in there and just allowing it to be what it is. And they came in with their message, and it's just proof that it is so important. And everyone, the audience here, is so important to be your light and to be your link in the chain so that you can affect the next person in that lightful and beautiful way.
Yeah. But the more I think about it, I really hope that this quieting of my mind, oh man, if that is what is happening to the collective and their minds are getting quiet now without all this indoor chatter of, but that person said this political thing that made me mad, or that person said this, oh my gosh, if all that is being quieted in the collective, we really might be looking at peace here soon.
I'd much rather hold on to that than any lower vibrational thought. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's why I was beating myself up when I was feeling very low vibrational yesterday. I was like, no, this is low. I got to bring it up. But I always know that when those things happen, it serves a purpose. Because sometimes when we get brought back down, it's honestly, we are actually transforming up. Sometimes it's, I kept saying yesterday, this is not a breakdown, this is a breakthrough. Sometimes we have to be knocked down and feel something for a minute. That while I feel now, the darkness has no more room, and I'm ready to transmute it all. But throughout life, darkness has served a great purpose. Darkness has been here to show us. You couldn't see the light. If you never saw the darkness, there's no way you could see the light. And so the darkness has been here all this time to teach us and to help us grow and to help us keep upping, but now I feel like we're in a time to where it can be let go now.
Yep.
You know, but it has definitely served a great purpose.
Totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I have for you for today. If you have more, it's all you.
Yeah, I am trying to, like I said, I have never experienced this amount of, I keep saying silence. I'm going to call it peace. I
Love
am
that.
fine. It is peace that I'm feeling in my mind, and to have lived my whole life where I feel like I have to be saying something, where I feel like I've had to be explaining something, and that they have been telling me just be. I feel like I'm going to just be, but I'm like, okay, but you're going to have to give me some information for the podcast though. Like, you know, like I'm loving this peaceful mind, but we're going to have to like give me a couple of downloads, you know, but,
they'll come at the moment.
Right now this feels good. And I hope that this is something that other people are experiencing, this literally peace of mind.
I know they are.
And I feel like they are. I feel
Yeah.
like this is happening to a lot of people.
Agree.
So awesome.
Yep. You good?
I'm good.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. And yeah, love you all. Appreciate you all. Go to the website, Open Energy. You'll be able to get in touch with me and Brooke. I'm going to see if I can get your information up there. If you ever want, if it's up to you. But I will see if I can put that up there for them to ever reach out to you directly if you want. But you can always go through me and to get the Brooke if you want for now, and then we'll get that up there if she's okay with that. So
I think we're at a point where it'd be really cool to get some questions, because questions for me, the reason I like them is it may be something I haven't thought about, and it might push for that answer to come in, you know? So I would love if anyone had, you know, questions for us.
I do have, actually, I have one. Yeah. There was a woman that reached out to me. I don't know where she's from, but she asked if we could go over numbers. And I definitely want to, just, you know, being in the moment and allowing these topics to come up as they will, as we did today. It's been tough for us to get that in, you know, because there are a few other topics that we have as well lined up.
Yeah, I would definitely, and I think numbers can be summed up pretty short. So maybe the next one will just touch a little bit on that, just to give a little tidbits of information here and there. Yeah.
That sounds great. Well, then we'll do that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brooke. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Shine your lights.
Love it. Love you all. Good day, and thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.